checker.
Cunningham.
Get her the ball. Get her the ball. One more time. Cross. A logo again.
Oh, no. Whoa.
She's back.
Oh my God!
Dynamic
This isn't real.
player in the game.
What?
9 points in 38 seconds for
No.
Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
And not only 9,
What's
it's
going
30, but
on?
look at the depth
I
on
don't know.
these field
I'm
goal
losing-
attempts. She's certainly feeling it.
Oh my God.
Left side, right
No.
side.
No.
Now come back to your favorite spot
Oh.
again. It doesn't matter if there's a hand.
What
in
am
her
I?
face.
The defending champions looked untouchable. No team had managed to solve their puzzle, no opponent had even come close to cracking their system. The New York Liberty appeared unstoppable, cruising past every challenger as if they were barely there. Then, on June 14th, everything changed. Caitlin Clark made her highly anticipated return from injury, and what unfolded wasn't just another win, it was a historic, all-out demolition that shattered 8 records in a single night. The Liberty's flawless season came to a crashing halt, their air of invincibility shattered, their confidence visibly shaken. But what took everyone by surprise wasn't just the loss, it was how the Indiana Fever flipped this upset into a step-by-step blueprint for championship-level basketball. They didn't just beat the best, they exposed the gaps no one else had noticed. If you've been waiting for Caitlin's return, drop CC Record Breaker in the comments right now because this was the night that changed everything. Let's get into it.
Pulls left wing, the right wing, 30+ feet. Logo crosses over, watch it. Oh my goodness! She is back!
Back in the lineup, I'm ready to go.
I think you're just excited more than anything. You know, it gets kind of difficult when you prepare for a game. Obviously, when I'm on the bench, still knowing the scout, knowing everything that the other team's going to do, and still trying to mentally prepare and go through everything like I'm going to play, even though I knew I wasn't going to play. So, you know, doing that, but also knowing I was going to be able to be active today, I think gives you a little extra juice. So I'm certainly excited just to get back out there, get playing, and really good opportunity for us at home here, coming off of a loss.
Imagine a team so dominant they made top-tier professionals look like amateurs. That's exactly what the New York Liberty had become. Rolling into June, they were carrying a perfect 9-0 record, the last remaining undefeated team in the entire WNBA. Every time they stepped on the court, it wasn't just a game, it was a show of power. They weren't just winning, they were erasing their competition with suffocating defense and flawless execution. Opposing teams would arrive with game plans and hope, but within 2 hours, they'd leave looking confused and completely dismantled. The Liberty's defense wasn't just solid, it was impenetrable, like a concrete wall that seemed to grow taller with every possession. Their dominance was so complete that it left the entire league questioning whether anyone could actually keep up.
Liberty, there was obviously a frustrating ending. What lessons can you take from that experience, and how can that be applied to this, even though I know obviously Liberty look a little different with 2 starters out?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly you take time and score situations, you know, different versions of handling runs, offensively, defensively. Margin for error is small against a team like New York, and you know, every play matters. You know, every time we send them to the free throw line matters. Every rebound matters. You know, we can't afford to have empty possessions on the offensive end of the floor. You know, you've got to play your A game.
Teams entered each matchup with the Liberty brimming with confidence, but they all exited with the same result: utter demoralization. Coaches spent sleepless nights drawing up the perfect plays, players obsessively broke down film, but no matter what they prepared, it wasn't enough. The Liberty had answers to everything. Their pick-and-roll offense was executed with surgical precision, their defensive rotations were flawless, and their team chemistry was off the charts. Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquil Jones, and Brianna Stewart weren't just having strong seasons, they were playing at a transcendent level. Stewart could effortlessly score from any spot on the floor, Ionescu would hit shots that defied logic and thread impossible passes, while Jones patrolled the paint with authority, making opposing bigs look outmatched and overpowered. This trio wasn't just leading a great team, they were making the rest of the league look like they didn't belong on the same court.
I think we continue to learn lessons from the first time we played them and from our last game against Atlanta. You know, every single day that we move forward. You know, I think they're a different team. Certainly, we're going to be a different team having C and Sophie back on the floor. And you know, we're going to tip the ball up and go out, and we're going to give it everything that we have.
The numbers didn't lie. The Liberty weren't just winning, they were steamrolling the competition. Their average margin of victory was jaw-dropping, consistently dismantling even the best teams by 20 points or more. When league-leading squads faced New York, they didn't just lose, they got humiliated. The Liberty's dominance was so overwhelming that basketball analysts stopped asking who would beat them and instead debated whether anyone even had a chance to compete. Sports talk shows speculated about whether this could become one of the longest winning streaks in WNBA history. Journalists were already crafting articles about the Liberty's inevitable championship run. The conversation wasn't about potential challengers, it was about whether the Liberty would even face a true threat this season.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA. The defending champion and unbeaten New York Liberty coming to town for the second time this year as we get ready for this game. And yes, she is back. Caitlin Clark will indeed be playing today. Missed the last 5 games with a strained quad, taking on the Liberty off to their best start ever. Sabrina Ionescu and company in this big Commissioner's Cup game as well. And as usual, all the seats are filled here.
Then came Indiana's shot. The Fever season had been plagued by injuries and lineup shuffles, and while they showed flashes of promise, nobody seriously considered them contenders, especially not against the Liberty juggernaut. Fans and analysts expected the usual, a New York blowout. But there was one thing the Liberty didn't account for: Caitlin Clark's return. Clark re-entered the lineup just in time for this critical matchup, and her impact would go far beyond what anyone could have predicted. The Liberty had never seen this version of Indiana. They weren't ready.
We have an opportunity in front of us right now. I feel like this is like we're starting a new season. You guys, I'm so proud of how resilient we've been up until this point. We're going to continue to have to be. But right now, we have an opportunity to continue to take a step forward. Okay, this can be a springboard for us, right? We're marrying energy and effort with execution. Every single possession matters. Hit singles. Hit singles. Make the easy play. All right? Make one another better. Okay? It's our time. It's our time. Here we go. Together, 3, 1, 2, 3. Together.
It all came down to one electric moment, 38 seconds, that would forever change the WNBA storylines. Clark stepped back onto the floor at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and immediately the atmosphere shifted. You could feel the tension, the anticipation, the electricity in the air. Clark wasn't just returning from a quad injury, she was on a mission to send a message that would echo throughout the league. In less than a minute, she would redefine what was possible on a basketball court. It wasn't just about coming back, it was about making history in real time.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 2 players with incredible up. Ball from Cunningham. Clark, another long 3. She's back!
Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted with every shot Clark nailed. Fans were on their feet, screaming, jumping, waving towels, completely losing their minds. The noise level was deafening. The energy in the building felt like a playoff atmosphere on steroids. In just 38 seconds, Caitlin Clark racked up 9 points. This wasn't just fast scoring, this was a rewriting of WNBA possibilities. Consider this: most players would celebrate scoring 9 points over the span of an entire quarter. Clark did it in under a minute. In fact, she became the first player in WNBA history to achieve this specific scoring burst. It wasn't just about the points, it was about announcing to the league that she was back and that she had elevated her game to an entirely new level.
Rebound, Fever. Cunningham got knocked to the floor. Caitlin pulls left wing, buries it. She is back. 24-18, Fever down. Caitlin now from the right wing, 30-plus feet. Good again. No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedatis, handoff. Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, launch it. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
The most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes.
And not only 9 in 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She's certainly feeling it.
Even Brianna Stewart, the league's reigning superstar and a generational talent in her own right, couldn't help but crack a smile. She'd seen it all: elite competition, championship battles, the brightest stages. But what Clark did that night was pure basketball brilliance, something even Stewart had to quietly appreciate in the moment. There's a level of play where rivals stop thinking about the scoreboard and just admire the craft, the artistry, the impossible made possible. Stewart, who has built her own career on doing the unthinkable, recognized that what Clark had just delivered was one of those moments, a pure display of talent, guts, and precision. It wasn't just another game, it was a night that left everyone, including the best in the world, walking away in awe.
And Cunningham is
Caitlin
down
from the
behind
logo.
with
Oh
play.
my God!
But they've got Caitlin Clark to fire away from 3. And Cunningham
Logo.
just now getting up as she stayed down near the free throw line on the other end.
Oh! Okay,
Just
why
coming
did
back.
Oh my
he take that?
gosh!
An ankle
Oh
injury,
my
and then
god, and
Johannes
of
Berry.
course Marine Johannes
Two
countered.
players
Not
not
playing
the
the
logo. But this is why I
Caitlin
love
from the
the
logo again! We got a shootout! We got a shootout!
Oh my
Again!
god! No, no, no!
The connection between Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark is something special. They've developed a chemistry on the floor that's impossible to teach. On one play, Mitchell secured an inside pass with perfect timing, and as the defense collapsed, Clark immediately sprang into action. She ripped down a contested rebound and instantly launched a laser-accurate outlet pass to Aaliyah Boston, who caught it in full stride and banked it in with flawless execution. It was a dazzling sequence, a textbook fast break from CC to AB. By halftime, the Indiana Fever had stunned everyone, leading the defending champions 53-50. But the fireworks were just beginning. As the game progressed, Clark wasn't just competing, she was rewriting the WNBA record books. Quarter after quarter, she kept stacking milestones. Clark drained 7 three-pointers that night, a career high, and left the Liberty's defense scrambling, unable to adjust. Every time they thought they'd finally figured out how to contain her, she'd pull up from another impossible distance and drain another shot. Liberty's coaching staff kept calling timeouts, desperately trying to find a solution, but nothing could slow her down. Then came the moment that would place Caitlin Clark in a league of her own, surpassing WNBA legend Candace Parker. Clark finished the game with a stat line of 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. This marked her third career game reaching at least 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. For context, Candace Parker, one of the most celebrated players in league history, a 2-time MVP and 7-time All-Star, only achieved that stat line twice in her first 2 seasons. Clark officially passed Parker's record. But that wasn't the only milestone. She also became the 4th fastest player in WNBA history to reach 850 career points, doing it in just 45 games. To put that into perspective, league legend Cynthia Cooperdike achieved it in 38 games, and Simone Augustus in 39. Clark is now firmly sitting among the sport's all-time elite scorers, names that shaped the history of women's basketball.
To get it inside to Mitchell. Those two have such a great connection.
Rebound, battled for, Clark comes away with it. Caitlin, outlet to Aaliyah, in stride, right post, then she fakes it in. It's a dime from CC to AB. And that does it for a scintillating first 20 minutes at Cambridge Fieldhouse. It's the Fever 53 and the Liberty 50.
What Caitlin Clark did that night wasn't just impressive, it was unprecedented. Her combination of 30 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 7 made three-pointers had never been achieved by any player in WNBA history. Not Sue Bird. Not Diana Taurasi. Not Maya Moore. Nobody. Clark became the very first player to ever deliver that exact stat line in a single game. But her record-setting pace didn't stop there. She now holds the second most games in WNBA history where a player scores or assists on 50 or more points in a single game. Clark has already done this 9 times in just 45 games. Compare that to Diana Taurasi, the all-time leader in this category, who needed 565 games to hit 10 such performances. Clark is on track to surpass that record before this season even wraps. The speed at which she's rewriting the record books is unlike anything the league has ever seen.
No, you guys have seen or heard, but Caitlin Clark is in fact back.
Caitlin Clark! Then steps back with the 3 over Brianna Stewart.
Clark's performance against the Liberty wasn't just a good night, it was a defining moment in her career. She now holds the WNBA record for the most 30-point, 5-rebound, 5-assist games in a player's first 2 seasons, surpassing the legendary Candace Parker. This wasn't just about winning, it was about Clark proving she belongs in conversations with the greatest to ever play. But what made this night truly unforgettable was that it wasn't a solo effort. While Clark was breaking records, her Fever teammates were delivering the best games of their careers. For months, the big question had been whether Indiana's supporting cast could rise to Clark's level and help carry the load. That night, they answered emphatically, stepping up across the board. Lexi Hull delivered a career-defining performance. She posted personal bests in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and shooting efficiency all in a single night. Hull, who has been quietly having the best season of her career, currently leads the WNBA in 3-point shooting percentage. Her sharp outside shooting creates invaluable spacing for Clark, forcing defenders to make impossible choices. When Hull catches fire from deep, the Fever's offense becomes a nightmare to guard. Defenses can't collapse on Clark without leaving Hull wide open, and that deadly combination leaves opponents scrambling.
The New York Liberty came out and threw the first punch in this quarter. For the Liberty to make this a single-digit game has been impressive here.
I think the way we responded when they went on that run in the third quarter, like we had to figure out how to play through it and go on a run of our own. And in the past, like that's kind of where we would crumble. That's exactly where we crumbled. But today we really stuck together. We went on our own run.
Mitchell trying to blow by. Everybody does and gets the foul.
Bounce pass, right wing, Hull, wide open 3. Of course! Clark to Hull, open lane, and she scores off the glass.
Caitlin challenged Sably and won it.
Aaliyah Boston continued to redefine what it means to be a center in today's game. She's the only center in the league averaging 4.1 assists per game, a stat that showcases her elite playmaking ability. Boston isn't just a post-up scorer, she reads the floor like a point guard, finding cutting teammates and threading perfect passes through tight windows. Her ability to facilitate from the high post completely transforms the Fever's offensive scheme. With Boston's vision and unselfish play, Indiana's offense becomes uniquely unpredictable, something no other WNBA team can replicate.
Clark nails it. A 17-0 run. Caitlin Clark now with 7 threes on the afternoon.
I thought Sid was fantastic today. She makes 2 huge threes for us in the second half. Soph was fantastic.
Bottom final score, Fever 102, Liberty 88. And Caitlin Clark's return. Indiana fans elated and amazed. The Fever are the first team to defeat the Liberty in 2025.
Sydney Colson provided crucial depth off the bench, adding 10 points and 6 assists in key moments. Colson stepped in seamlessly when the starters needed rest, and her poised, high IQ play allowed the Fever to maintain their rhythm without missing a beat. Colson's impact underscored how deep this Fever roster really is. With reliable production from the bench, Indiana proved they're not just a one-star team, they're a fully loaded unit with multiple contributors ready to step up when called upon. The Fever's ball movement was crisp, their defensive rotations were sharp, and every player fully embraced their role. They dictated the pace, forcing the Liberty to play Indiana's style of basketball. Indiana's defensive schemes completely disrupted New York's pick-and-roll execution, stripping away the mismatches the Liberty usually rely on. This wasn't just a good game plan, it was a blueprint for championship basketball. Stars performed like stars, but role players elevated their games to elite levels. Head coach Stephanie White emphasized the team's unity, saying, "This group stays together, they lift each other up, and they draw strength from one another." That team-first mentality wasn't just talk, it was the foundation of this win. When the Fever play like this, fluid, connected, and confident, they don't just look like a good team. They look like champions in the making.
Found Boston perfectly. Boston being very physical with Sabali. Count it. Fake left, drive right, make it all look so easy. Blocked by Boston. It is shocking to see Kennedy Burke miss 1 3 this season. She's leading the league at over 60%, but to see her miss a couple. Count it. As Mitchell celebrates from the floor. Mitchell is simply such a great cutter, and this time going again from the right side to the middle of the floor. Colson head up, finds her, drops the pass. What a tough finish as well.
Good job.
Oh, that we get.
Whew, good job. Squad needed it. Played Fever way. I love it. More of them.
This wasn't just a win. This was a message to the entire WNBA. The Indiana Fever didn't just hand the Liberty their first loss of the season, they showcased the formula for winning it all. Clark shattered 8 records. Her teammates set new personal milestones. The Liberty's perfect season collapsed, but something even bigger happened. The Fever proved they can beat anyone when they bring their full potential. With this win, Indiana improved to 5 wins and 5 losses, climbing to first place in the Eastern Conference Commissioner's Cup standings. The Fever have officially entered the championship conversation. If you're fired up about Caitlin Clark's return and the Fever's statement win, drop CC Record Breaker in the comments, like this video, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on the screen now, we'll see you in the next one.